Welcome back to Under Oath. I'm your host with the mostest, Attorney Jeff Kaufman. Sitting next to me is my good friend, fellow comedian,
Yes,
James John.
soon to be fellow lawyer. Yeah.
Yeah. He plays a good one on TV.
Thank you, man.
People don't realize commercials are hard.
You make a lot of commercials.
Commercials are hard.
Not easy.
Yeah, and it causes people to have different looks towards you.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they see you on TV, they go, "Yeah, I saw your commercial," and you're not quite sure whether they liked it or not.
Gotcha.
Somebody sent a picture of one of our commercials, and I have a lot of yellow on the screen. And they go, and I was laughing. I'm going, well, that's just so you don't have to pay attention to my lack of talent.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're too busy looking at the yellow to realize how bad a job I'm doing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I know you have a question for me.
I do, but before I
Okay.
ask you this question, I want to preface it by asking you another question first. Now, attorneys,
Yeah.
they represent clients.
Normally, yeah.
Normally do.
Sometimes they represent government entities, corporations,
True.
city.
But this one has to do with a client.
Okay.
What's the rules between a lawyer and a client engaging in a personal relationship?
You mean sexy stuff?
Sexy stuff, yes.
Okay.
Sexy stuff.
Normally, the answer is hells no.
There you go.
Hells no.
And tell us why.
Now, why?
Yeah.
Because this person depends on you.
Okay.
And you have undue influence over this person.
Correct.
And sometimes people do it, in the past, I'm not going to represent you unless we're having sex.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there is an exception. For example, if we were in a relationship before I started representing you.
Okay.
Okay? Because there are husbands who represent their wives and wives represent their husbands.
Yeah.
Dumb idea, though.
Why?
It's horrible. Because a client always has questions.
That is true.
Now, imagine they're upset about their case.
Mm-hmm.
And you're having sex with this person.
Mm-hmm.
Worst fights ever.
Ooh.
Because you're going, I can't really, you can't tell somebody you're having sex with, stop.
Everything you're doing is not helping.
No,
Yeah.
no, you're killing your case.
Yes.
You're doing this.
Mhm.
But I'm worried. I can't talk about this anymore with you.
Yeah.
Okay, no more sex.
It has to be, you have to separate yourself. It has to be
There
some
has
kind
to
of-
be a separation.
Got it.
I remember this one husband was representing his wife in a criminal case, and he sucked because he doesn't do criminal.
Oh, but he's a lawyer and it's my
Oh,
wife.
I'm a lawyer. It's my wife. I can do this.
Okay.
And I was working on the other side of that one earlier in my career. And I told him, I said, dude, you gotta hire somebody competent. I'm a lawyer. You're not this kind of lawyer.
It's different.
This is a different battle. Oh, you think you're better? I think I'm better at this.
Yes.
And she needs somebody who understands what's going on because you're going to get her some jail time.
Gotcha.
And she wound up hiring a regular attorney in
Thank God.
that field, a criminal defense attorney. And I was able to work with him. And, of course, he knew what he was talking about.
Mhm.
So she wound up getting a much better offer.
Good.
I want you to know, prosecutors are not going to cut you a break because you have a bad lawyer.
No.
In fact, they're going, well, this evens out. For every time a lawyer kicks my ass, I got to kick yours.
There you go.
So yeah, no, do not have sex with your clients. It's not a good idea. First off, you can get disbarred.
Really?
Oh yeah, you can lose your license.
Because it could end up.
It's a rule. It's an ethical rule. Do not sleep with your clients.
Got
There
it.
is, like I said, there's the exception if you had that relationship beforehand.
Mhm.
Don't screw around. It causes too much anxiety in your relationship, and it will affect the way you represent them.
I'm sure.
So don't do it.
All right.
So what question am I looking at?
This is going to be a good one for you, man.
All right.
Here it is. It's coming from Texas. I don't know if that makes any difference, but it's coming from, that's right.
Sorry, a little Pee Wee Herman reference. That's a little.
Woo!
In
My-
the heart of Texas.
Texas. All right, here's the question. My
All right.
wife was given a court-appointed attorney who's been sexually harassing her,
Oof.
making comments about her body and saying he likes being played with. We're afraid reporting him could hurt her case, but it's likely he's doing this to others too. What should we do?
Bye-bye.
Okay, got it.
No, you got to cut it loose.
And how do you do that if it's court-appointed? What do you do?
Go in front of the judge and you contact that attorney first and say, listen, I'd like you to withdraw and I'd like somebody else to be appointed.
Gotcha. Is that simple?
And I would give the attorney the opportunity to say, listen, I don't care what you say.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what excuse you give that judge.
Mm-hmm.
But if they ask me why, it's not going to go your way.
Got it.
Because the accusation is a tough one.
It is.
Now, I've been on the other end of that where I've been able to go, no, this didn't happen. I'm willing to argue it.
Okay.
But the minute you have to start defending yourself, you've already lost.
You're losing. If you're explaining, you're losing.
So yes, I think you and your significant other should go to him and say, listen, we'd like to ask you to withdraw to save dignity. You say whatever you need.
Here's a dumb question on my part. Why, if I'm a lawyer, would I be sexually harassing my client?
What do doctors sleep with their clients?
That is true.
The problem you have with overly intelligent people sometimes is they think they're smart enough to get away with bad conduct.
Okay.
That's why, accountants steal sometimes. Doctors can act like jerk-offs with their patients.
Yeah.
Attorneys think they're bigger than other people. And there have been times in my career where I thought I was untouchable.
Really?
Yeah.
You're like, man, I know I got this.
Well, when you're fighting for people all day long, you think, well, there's no difference. I'm good at what I do, so I can fight for myself too.
Yeah.
And then you start thinking that people shouldn't screw with you, knowing that you get screwed with every day.
Nobody cares.
And the way you respond to it is where things go off the rails. And I've said some things and I've done some things and I've had arguments with attorneys that I should have handled differently. And I'm aware of that now. But experience teaches you a little humility.
And I love what you said. Overly intelligent people, they do dumb things sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, really
I'm
smart
too
people.
smart to get caught.
Yeah.
No. You gotta look at what's going on. You can use the law, but in the end, you're responsible for your actions.
You sure are.
Yeah.
Don't flirt with your clients.
Yeah. Not great. No, you really can't do that. Now I know some attorneys, like for example, in prostitution cases, criminal defense attorneys are kind of the worst when it comes to breaking that rule.
Why? Client's vulnerable.
Now, if you're a criminal defense attorney and you're talking to me right now, you go, I don't do criminal defense. I do, I represent people accused of crimes. Okay, I get it. I get it. But on your card, it says criminal defense.
Yes, it does.
And you advertise under criminal defense. You don't advertise under, I represent people accused of committing crimes. No, nobody does that because first off, it takes too much time.
Well, I'm not a lawyer, as you know, but let me shoot some of those lawyers bail. If they're representing a prostitute, all they're doing is sampling the product to be able to talk about it intelligently. That should not be held against them, my friends. If you think about it, all I did was make sure the woman was proficient in what she claimed to do. Now, Your Honor, if that's illegal, then put me in prison.
See, he just showed you. Attorneys and comedians think they're too smart for their own good. No, I've actually seen, I did criminal defense for about 5 years. And what happens is when your job is to get people to become less responsible for their actions, they go, well, you're representing people and it's a duty. Not saying it's not.
Okay.
What I'm saying is sometimes this darkness gets into you.
Gotcha. If you're around it all the time.
Yeah. And your job is to walk people who did bad stuff. And when there are attorneys out there who are going to say to me, that's ridiculous, Jeff. You don't know what you're talking about. I said, I've been practicing law for 20 years.
Yeah.
I've seen what some criminal defense attorneys go through, the changes in who they are, how representing people all day long in this capacity, what it does to you.
Yes.
And my last criminal defense case, I remember it leaving, and there was like this cloud that lifted off of me.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't realize how it was affecting me.
Yeah.
And I know people who practice their whole life in criminal, and some people can compartmentalize it.
Like as soon as they leave the courthouse, I'm done with that case for today.
But a lot of people have been doing it for a long years. And now here, if you do criminal defense, you go, this never affected me. You are lying if you will say you haven't seen this affect other people. It's kind of like drugs. I can test drugs, but I can either get addicted or not addicted.
Correct.
So it's just your physiology.
Gotcha.
So yes, it might not affect certain people, but you are entering a realm where there's a lot of negativity that can attach to you.
And let's be honest, though, a part of the legal process, though, is everyone gets a fair trial. No matter what you may think of this person or what they've done, everybody does deserve a defense.
When people ask me about it, my answer, and it still is, your child commits a heinous crime and the death penalty is on the table. Do you hire an attorney?
Yes.
What if you know she did it?
You still hire an attorney because that's your child.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's going to be that your child, your husband, your brother, your sister, your best friend, and everyone is so, how can I say it, cavalier on how they feel about criminal defense until they're directly connected to it.
That is true.
So
that is definitely true.
That's where that falls under.
Yes.
And the same with what I do in personal injury. People feel the same thing when they see it until they're the ones who are hurt.
And they need somebody.
And they're like, Jeff, you got to come on. They don't want to pay our medical bills. They don't want to do this. I walk funny now. I didn't do this. I didn't get in my car hoping this would happen to me.
Yep.
And it's the truth. That's the way people feel, and I get it. And until they're the one directly impacted by it, they have no sympathy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not to say a lot of people are.
But it does happen. It
does.
There.
The billboards kill people. I mean, I have billboards, but they don't say on it, hey, I got this guy this money.
No, it doesn't.
And it doesn't mean I have anything against the people who do that.
Mm-hmm.
How you get a client is not the same as how you represent the client.
That is the truth.
So if I'm the best attorney in the world and I have to do commercials to get clients, that doesn't mean I'm not the best attorney in the world.
I want my attorney to go the extra mile. I want my attorney to be willing to put on a Tigger outfit to make sure that I don't get accused of something I didn't do.
Yeah, the Tigger costume.
Yes.
Yeah. It's so long ago, man.
But I remember seeing that. And the fact that I know you now is amazing because I'm thinking back to when I actually saw that because I worked at that theme park at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's you hear people talk about it now.
Mm-hmm.
The other day I saw, people put these documentaries together about criminal cases because crime drama.
Yes.
And I saw a video on the Tigger trial.
Yeah.
The trial
you famously
I was the
won.
attorney.
Yes.
I was the attorney put on the Tigger costume.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing to me that happened less than 20 years ago, but the documentary couldn't have been more false. And the problem is that that's news. And that's now a historical telling of this moment in time.
Even though it's inaccurate.
Yeah, absolutely inaccurate.
So let that be a lesson to anyone listening about what they believe when they see it.
Yeah. There were a lot of things said.
Yeah.
And I was going, no, that didn't happen.
No.
And that didn't happen. And
Yeah.
how do I know? Because I was in
there.
the courtroom.
Yeah.
I didn't sleep for 5 days. I remember exactly how long that trial took.
I could
remember
imagine.
every moment of it. I remember not eating
Mm-hmm.
or sleeping and thinking that if I screwed up one bit, Michael was going to prison for 15 years because that was the minimum.
That's insanity, bro.
Yeah.
Now, no one knew. Because you worked there as well. People don't know that.
Nobody didn't know it.
No one knew. And they didn't know until you got back to work. Like, bro, you were on TV as a lawyer.
They didn't know it to the last 20 minutes of the trial.
Bro, was everybody trying to get free legal advice after that?
No, they were pissed.
They were mad?
They were mad.
Why?
There's a rule when you work in the parks, and don't spoil the magic.
So they were upset because you, to prove a point, put on the actual costume.
To actually keep somebody from going
to
to prison.
Yes.
I broke that rule. And I said exactly what I said to you the other day when we were talking about everyone has a right and it matters when it's somebody you care about.
Uh-huh.
And they couldn't understand that. And Disney, to this day, 5 months later, I was told, you're no longer, your services are no longer. Thank you for your service.
Yeah.
And it broke my heart because I loved working at Disney.
We're theme park guys.
Yeah.
We love it.
I was part of the cult.
Yes.
7 years. I did entertainment 1 night a week or 2 nights a week.
I did 15 years.
And nobody knew I was a lawyer.
That's insanity.
And it was amazing to me. But I think that also affected other performers too, because they were like, well, listen, we're living out of our car and you come in here and do this as a hobby. And I don't want to call it a hobby because you can love something.
Absolutely.
And when the money doesn't matter, I guess people go, well, that's a hobby then.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't spend my money. Sometimes I didn't even know I got the check. I mean, there was a way to put money into stocks and you'd get like back then it was like $2 going to the stock.
Yeah.
And I think I still have those shares, which is kind of funny because they're in an account somewhere that Disney's holding.
Yeah.
But I love Disney. I loved the cult. I loved everything about it.
So did I.
The thousands of hours that I've spent with my son Jacob there. Every once in a while, somebody will look at me and go, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I miss it. Like if I would have got that job back, if they said, Jeff, you can work 1 night a week.
And you still do it.
I would do it.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you this. I know some people, they were upset with you when you were in that court case and you wore the Tigger outfit because they said you wasn't preserving the magic. Let me tell you something. If I'm facing 15 years as a black man, you could dress up like Medea from a Tyler Perry movie. Please do it. Hello. Okay? I need not to go to jail. Look at me. I'm cute.
Yeah. The weird part of that history was I was supposed to work a shift the night the verdict came in. And I had to call in. The first time I called in 5 years.
I couldn't
tell them why I called in.
Oh, really?
literally an hour and a half after I was in that Tigger costume, the jury came back with a not guilty verdict. And after these people, I showed up a week later, and everyone was telling me what happened.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, Jeff, and they were all mad. I said, but when did you guys find out? They said, well, we were all running late to get to parade bases where they were doing, I think, the Spectral Magic at the time.
It was Spectral Magic.
And they were all in the cafeteria watching the TV. The verdict is in. And so everyone's running late.
Yeah.
But they had to watch the verdict. And when the verdict came in not guilty, the place erupted. And that was an amazing feeling because everyone felt that they were on trial because they knew it was BS. They knew that it was a horrible.
But that would have affected them if it would have came back different.
Every Tigger costume was pulled.
Wow.
They didn't tell people that if he would have been found guilty that day, all the merchandise in the park is gone. Everything with the Tigger on it was being pulled from the park that night.
Wow.
So it's so strange now to think about it. Two attorneys arguing. Sometimes we argue, sometimes we agree, and most of the time we just walk out without saying anything to each other. All right. We're in the middle of summer. It's hot. People, when they get hot, they do dumb things. I need to get home quick. I got to do this stuff. So people are speeding now, and accidents are happening, and people get killed when people do bad things in cars. Now, there's a new law that's being passed in a bunch of states concerning reckless driving. And you and I both know speeding is not enough to be considered reckless driving.
Well, that's not true. If you speed enough over the speed limit, like 80 in a 25 is reckless. 80 on I-4,
and a
probably
65.
not. Yeah, probably not reckless.
But there are ways that you
Which
can
is weird,
surpass
right? Because
it.
it's the same speed.
But
it's only reckless because you're on this road instead of that road.
Change in situations.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, now they're passing a law where they're putting governors on people's cars. And the GPS is going to try to figure out where you're at and know the speed limit, and it won't allow you to go faster than what the GPS determines is the speed limit.
No, unacceptable.
Why?
Because I like to drive fast. That's the real reason. You know what the real reason is? 'Cause I want to determine how fast I go. I don't want my car to determine how fast I go. What if I'm trying to get away from the police? I need to go fast if I'm trying to get away from the police.
Do you think your 4x4 dually can ever go faster than a typical
Have you
state
been in
trooper?
that thing? Have you been in that thing
I can't.
when I opened it up?
How fast does it go? Over 140?
Oh, yeah.
Why don't you don't? See,
Yes.
you should say I've done it.
It
you
does.
Can go, I heard in the manual it says it goes.
No, I've been in it while it's been well over 140. You know all the stuff I got on my truck.
How are you a lawyer?
I have to.
How are you a lawyer when you say
it's
things
chipped.
like that?
It's chipped.
I know it's chipped, but
And
you're not supposed to say you did it.
I got a racing exhaust. I got a racing fuel pump.
We are going to keep this in for the record. And when all you guys write the comments under it that what the hell is this guy thinking? Remember, it was this guy. Okay?
Yeah, so my truck goes really, really fast if I want it to. And I need to be able to continue to do that. I don't want some government telling me how fast I can go.
How does that differ? If you are on probation for it, they put you on probation for reckless driving, which they can do. It's a first-degree misdemeanor in the state of Florida. If that happens to you, how is that any different from you having to blow into your car on a DUI to get the engine to start?
Because I'm being punished before I've done anything wrong.
You did do something wrong. You got busted for reckless driving.
Oh, so you're saying that they only put this system in your car if you've got a conviction for reckless driving?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were saying that all cars can be manufactured such that no car can now go faster than the speed limit.
No. Here's the issue I have. I don't like when we start passing laws based on single episodes. I think it's dangerous. Oh, this person got killed, so let's name the bill after her. And her family goes in and says, we're going to do this, 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 and this because of this one bad thing that happened. I don't think one bad thing determines laws. And it happens all the time because then you got 7 politicians. Oh, let me help poor little Mary who lost her child. And I feel bad for Mary who lost her child, but you're not changing the law for the whole universe because one person did something.
They do that all the time.
They shouldn't.
Whenever a weakness in the law is exposed, you change the law to address that weakness. So
How
it
many
doesn't
people
happen
die
again.
from reckless driving?
There's a perfect example right here in Florida. There's a law just like that doesn't allow you to be released within either 8 or 10, maybe it's 12 hours if you've been arrested for DUI, because before this particular law I'm talking about, I don't remember what the name of it is, but it's the name of the little girl that died. It happened that a guy got arrested for DUI. He hit his bail, and 2 hours later, he killed a little girl, and he was drunk driving when he did it. So now that little girl's name is the name of the law that prevents you from bonding out if you've been arrested for DUI for at least X number of hours. I think it's from 8 to 12.
Okay. Now let's change the scenario. The day after, guy drinks again, gets hammered, runs over a cute little white girl. Now we have the next law. You're not allowed to drink until your trial. And then what we have is this, is that a year later, the same guy kills another cute little white girl. And it's always a cute little white girl, just so we're clear. It's always the cute white girl.
I don't know.
It's always the same
I don't
one.
know the race of the girl.
Oh, guess what? Every time a child dies, Casey Anthony, white girl. Everyone we care about, white girl. Karen Reed, white girl.
Why are you making
Teachers,
this
white girl.
Why is it racial?
Because we care more about cute white girls, and we build laws around those, and we actually have huge cases because of cute white girls. It's just the way it works, and it's disgusting, and we should give a damn about regular people. Karen Reed, I got to care about her because she's a good-looking woman. Oh, the teacher that decides to sleep with her students who gets 3 years because she's a good-looking woman. I mean, why are we passing laws and why are we caring about stuff over a single individual when we know that every time somebody does something wrong, we could just create another law and another law and another law. And soon you take every right away from us and we're sitting around trying to figure out how to leave our house without getting arrested. I don't like it. I have spoken.
That's quite the rant there, Kaufman.
Yeah, I don't like it. I've studied too much law to realize what we're looking at, and every time we turn around, somebody wants to adjust a law. Oh, just for this case because of this.
Hey, some of them are really good. Some of them are really well thought out.
Some of them suck.
That one about the DUI not being able to bond out for a certain amount of hours, I like it. You would like it too if it was your family member.
For the safety of the person, if we think they're still drunk at the time they're leaving, yes, that's a common sense issue. You don't want somebody who's had a
But under your scenario, they wouldn't be allowed to make laws like that. They wouldn't be able to say, "Oh, hey,
we're
this is
not
a problem."
basing it on one incident."
Well, it was,
and that's
though.
what they do. And
But
they
it
should
was.
do it.
It
But
was
it's ridiculous. It's unfair and it's unjust and it creates bad law.
Well, this is the case. This is the name of the person who made us realize that there's a problem with the way the system's set up. So now let's adjust the system. Nothing wrong with naming it after the person that made you realize that.
Not fun.
Right.
No, I don't think it should be named. We're not gonna,
we shouldn't include her name.
Baby cute white girl. That's what we should call the law. We got another baby cute white girl law that we're passing. Baby cute mother.
Is it Stacy's Law?
How
If you know, write the name in the comments. I know it's the name of a girl. Write it in the comments. We'll figure it out.
All right. So after all this nonsense and my tirade and you defending the rights of everybody who shouldn't be defended.
People who chip their trucks.
Yeah. Who chip their trucks.
We're people too, man.
And now you've shut down their business.
We are also people. We deserve to drive on the roads just like you.
I'm upset now. I'm going to leave mad. I got to eat a chicken sandwich later to make myself feel better.
What did I say? Was it something I said?
Yeah, it was.
What did I say?
It was because you justify this nonsense, and I don't like it. I don't like that
chipping
one part.
Chipping my car?
Not chipping. Well, you'll wind up blowing the car up eventually. I'll be happy because that car's too old.
I'm blowing
You need to get rid of that thing. I need to.
It's really fast.
I understand that. The point is that the idea of changing a law in piecemeal fashion over one issue, instead of going, well, we've had this problem for a long time and we do this. Now, we just recognize this as a problem. No, we know it's a problem. We just don't think it's big enough to do it.
That's the thing.
We didn't care enough for it to do it.
We didn't realize.
And now one death, suddenly we care. And some politician gets to go, look what I did.
That's usually the time to start caring when somebody dies because of it. Yeah, that's a good time to start caring.
I'm only caring because of some Karen. I get it. That's the way that works out.
Come on.
It always does. It's never some dude. Some dude never changes the law. It's never some dude. This is Brian's law. How many
dudes have been killed by guys who bonded out on DUI?
There's no Jeff's law.
Within 4 hours.
It's always some cute white girl they named this thing after. It's never a dude.
I'll give you that. No one's getting upset because a dude died. That's
This is the Jeff Kaufman law. No, it's not the Jeff Kaufman law. It's only Jeff Kaufman if I get busted embezzling.
If you got killed, if you're a guy and you got killed because some guy just bonded out, then God just wanted you dead. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, we only name laws after guys when they're the perpetrators. That's the way that works out. The Ted Bundy rules, things like that. We never give a guy the
So
benefit
you're
of a
saying
law when it's for
sometime
a
in the
good thing.
future there might be the Jeff Kaufman charge?
Please don't be.
Yeah, you got
I'd say we're
Kaufman.
back in a few, but I think I've pissed off enough people that I won't be
We're
brought back
never
in.
coming back. This is the last show. It was
I got
nice.
canceled because of my tirade over cute white girls.
It was nice
They
knowing
go,
you
Jeff,
guys.
you're racist. I'm white. Well, you're Jewish. That doesn't count. Today we have film and television producer Jerry Bruckheimer. Jerry, can you hear me?
I hear you perfect, Jeff.
I took 16 people to your movie Tuesday night, and
I love you. Thank you.
The ages went from 15 to 60. And at the end of the movie, all of them were stunned. They couldn't stop talking about everything that was perfect, the acting, the music, the cinematography. I mean, you put a dream team together for this movie.
Well, it's the same team that did Top Gun Maverick. So if you like that movie, you got to love this one. We have Brad Pitt in this one. Tom, of course, was busy doing Mission Impossibles, but Brad is the first actor we went to, and he rides motorcycles and loves speed, so he was the perfect actor to put in these cars. But they actually drove these cars. We trained him for 4 months to be able to get in these F1 cars. So it was a grueling process. They were going 180 miles an hour, and then they're breaking down to 50 coming into those turns. So it took an enormous amount of skill. But since Lewis Hamilton, who's a 7-time world champion, was one of the producers with us, he made sure it was honest and true.
Now, this movie was shot between 23 and 24 at actual F1 sites.
Exactly. We went to 10 different races. One was Daytona, and the rest were F1 races.
I mean that's insane. I mean, when I watched it, I could not believe how well done this was. And I've seen so many of your movies, and I've loved them for years. But I mean everything. And I'm not spoiling anything, but there's a scene where there's no sound, and I can tell you that was the biggest statement made by anybody walking out of that theater, that they couldn't breathe during that moment.
Yeah, it's really immersive. It's got a phenomenal soundtrack, and Doja Cat and Chris Stapleton, and just it goes on. And Hans Zimmer, who's an amazing composer, maybe the greatest living composer, did the score for this. So you have the sounds of these cars, and Lewis Hamilton was so involved. When we were looking at a cut of the movie, he said, well, in Silverstone, you're going into turn 3, and I hear you're in third gear. I'd be in second gear, so we had to change it. He said, on turn 5, you can't pass. If you pass, there's an accident. We used it. We had an accident on turn 5. So it's so authentic and real, but it's always about the emotion and the story. And that's what's so great about this movie. It's funny, it's romantic, it's all the things that I want to go to the cinema and see it on the biggest screen possible.
Now, what blows my mind is I can't imagine how many scripts hit your table on a daily basis. And for you to go, you know what? I'm interested in this. I want to commit a year or two of my life to this. How do you even choose something like that?
Do I want to see it? It's real simple. I don't know what you like. I don't know what an audience likes, but I know what I like. And if there's something that crosses my desk or an idea or whatever, wherever it comes from, if that's something I pay money to go see, that's what I try to make.
So it's completely selfish. You're going, if I love it, I'm doing it.
Because I can't guess what an audience wants. I can't guess what you want. I just know what I like. And someday what I like, nobody else will like. But so far, I've been really lucky.
I mean, I'm just blown away by your body of work. I mean, there's been so many great movies over the years. And, do you ever say to yourself, I really wanted to make this movie. I haven't made it yet. I mean, is there anything on the table like that?
Sure, there's a bunch of them. We're prepping a bunch of movies right now that we're working on screenplays for, and so hopefully we'll get them to the big screen. But right now, I'm happy with the one that's in the theaters, so I got to focus on that for a minute.
Yeah, it's always weird for me because I also write comic books and I produce comic books, and when I'm out on the road selling one book that I wrote or created like a year ago, and I have 10 other things that I'm working on right now, how hard is it to focus on the promotion in comparison to the next project you're working on?
Well, you have to promote your movies. You work so hard to make them, you got to go out and sell them. That's really important. And that's what I do. I go out and try to sell our movies. I don't do it for myself. I don't promote anything when we're not promoting a movie. I stay away, just focus on the work. It's always about the work. The way I look at it, the harder I work, the luckier I get. And that's, look, it's a #1 movie. We worked really hard making it. We're working hard promoting it. Brad's gone to Japan. He's gone he was in London. He was in New York. He's really working hard to promote this movie. He loves it. He had a great experience. He drove those cars. He trained to drive them. They had a blast. The saddest day for him was when we were in Abu Dhabi and he did his last lap and climbed out of the car. That was my happiest day. We got everybody safe and we were very fortunate.
How scary is that? Because there are movies like Tom has done a bunch of movies where he got hurt and he was out for a month or two at a time. And you're sitting there and you got your star in this car knowing that a single mistake could end a multi-$100 million production. I mean, I can't imagine. What does it take to deal with that?
Well, you got to prepare for it. In other words, we make sure that whatever we do is really, they're really prepared. Tom does the same thing. They rehearse things over and over and over before they even get up in the air or in the car. Same thing with Brad. They work so hard to train to be able to be really proficient in these cars. They knew exactly what they were doing. They knew what the car could do. They knew when they had to brake. They were really, really gifted. And I wouldn't do it any other way. I wouldn't let an actor climb in a car and spend a week and then, thinks he knows how to drive it. It took 4 months.
Now, this is a big weekend. The July 4th weekend's coming up. The last weekend it came out. I mean, there's so much competition around. And you've been doing this for so many years. I mean, is there any angst as far as, okay, we're going to set this for this weekend? Because but there's going to be a lot of competition.
Yeah, look, it's always about the movie. We've been very fortunate because the movies we've made really entertain audiences. And this one is from 8 to 80. So this movie is something that I know, at least in our test audiences, they loved it. And our cinema score, our Rotten Tomato score for an audience is 97. I don't know how much higher you can get. No. So I know the movie delivers for an audience. And it's just, we got to go out there and tell people who couldn't care less about racing. It's not about the racing. It's about these characters. And you fall in love with them and you go on a ride with them. It's romantic. It's funny. It's got all the bells and whistles of why I go to the cinema. Phenomenal sound, a great soundtrack. Hans Zimmer did the score. We got Chris Stapleton and Doja Cat and just goes on and on. What a great soundtrack we have.
What was very weird about this is I saw the movie Tuesday. I didn't know I was interviewing you till Wednesday. Right. And we walked out of that theater and I knew that I had seen something special in comparison to like the Top Guns and everything else like that. And I mean, I can't even imagine what it's like going, okay, this is my vision. Did I get there?
Well, the audience told us we got there when we previewed the movie. You do a focus group. You take 20 people after they see the movie. And what we did is we did what we call a blind screening. So the audience who came in there had no idea what they're going to see. And the first question was, how many of you are aware of F1? Out of 20 people, one hand went up. Next question was, many of you people are interested in F1? Every hand went up. One lady raised her hand and said, when I heard the name of the movie, I wanted to walk out. I couldn't care less about racing movies. And she said, I've seen the movie. I rated it excellent. I'm telling all my friends to go see it. It's not really about racing. It's the racing world, and we take you inside that world and tell you what it's about. It's a process movie. And in other words, chances are you'll never get a chance to sit in one of these cars and drive them, but we'll give you that experience of what these drivers actually go through.
Now, I've read a bunch of interviews. I did a lot of prep work for it. I've seen all you've been out for. And the one thing that I think that's missing is a master class. I mean, time for you to sit down and share this unbelievable knowledge with so many people, because what you've done is amazing. And you can't put it in a book and you can't have somebody say, hey, I want to do a biography of your life and everything else like that. I think this information is so important to filmmakers, to audiences, to people just running their own business. I mean, you've been involved. I mean, you've made economies with your television shows in Miami, all over. I mean, the effect you've had on our planet is pretty severe. And, it'd be great if somebody was out there able to explain this to the world, and this is how I did it.
Well, you know what it is? The key is talented people. That's what it is. We're gathering a lot of talented people. Joe Kosinski, who directed this, is a phenomenal talent. He did Top Gun Maverick. If you like Top Gun Maverick, you're going to love this movie. It's done by the same team, the same writer. And what we try to do is immerse an audience, put them in a world, put them in something that they'll never be a part of. And this world is amazing. These drivers are some of the greatest athletes. There are 10 teams, 2 drivers to each team. And it's the only sport where your teammate is your competitor. Now, if you took these 20 drivers, put them in the same car, they come within a second of each other. That's how gifted they are. The hand-eye coordination is phenomenal. They're going 220 miles an hour, which we have in the movie. We put an iPhone camera in 2 of the actual cars in 9 races. So you're seeing some footage from the actual drivers going 220 miles an hour. Brad only got up to 180 only because the insurance company held us back. But other than that, he just got out of a McLaren car that he drove, I think it was in Austin, that he got up to 197. I mean, he's a gifted driver, so is Damson, because they trained, they worked really hard, and that's really important to make sure that they know what they're doing before those camera rolls. And we had, Lewis Hamilton, 7-time world champion, who was our producing partner.
I love how you say only 180, Jerry. That's fantastic. He was only going 180 for insurance purposes. If I was the insurance company, I'd be going 110. Yeah. Well, maybe 60. I'd be sweating my ass off with you watching this happen. But you accomplished something, and you've, like with a lot of your fantastic movies, that it's very tough, and you're going, okay, the technology is out there. Can I beat the last movie? Does that even come into mind?
Of course, you always want to better yourself. On this movie, the cameras were a third the size of what we had on Top Gun. We created a remote camera, which we didn't have on Top Gun, where you could pan from Brad's face to a car passing him. We put antennas around the track so that we could use it. We had 15 camera angles on the car, 4 at a time. It was harder for them to drive these cars than the actual drivers because they had a camera in their face. And it's just the amazing quality that you get from these cameras. Sony created a special camera. This is IMAX quality that we shot the movie with. So when you're in the theater, you're seeing something really, really special. And the sound's phenomenal. A great soundtrack. Hans Zimmer did the score. It's something that's so immersive. And we have all these terrific acts, from Chris Stapleton to Doja Cat to Don Toliver, and it just goes on and on. Rose and Tate McRae. So we got a #1 album out there too. It's really jumping up on the charts. So not only are you excited by the story and the sounds, you're hearing terrific music. And Hans Zimmer, who's maybe the greatest living composer, did the score.
Well, Jerry, I can't tell you how great this has been to have this conversation. I do someday hope that I get to see your masterclass. And everyone go out, see F1. It was a fantastic movie. And like I said, I took 16 people myself. This wasn't a preview. I paid for it myself, and it was fantastic.
Jeff, we love you. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Well, that wraps up today's show. I'm attorney Jeff Kaufman. Thanks for joining us. Special thanks to my 2 co-hosts, my good friend, professional comedian James John, and my law partner, Craig Lind. This show is sponsored by Kaufman Lind. If you or someone you know has been in an accident, contact us at 407-500-JEFF or 407-500-5333 for a free consultation, or visit us at whenyouneedus.com.